Warning, the following video may contain cursing, immature jokes, or verbal not safe for work content. If you do not wish to view anything that may contain any of these, please immediately go back to your previous page, or otherwise, just stick around and enjoy the show. Thank you.
No, today we're going to be talking about our lives, what got us to meet each other, how our lives went, and things we enjoy, and ourselves, so we can introduce ourselves to people that may be listening. So, yeah. Who wants to go first?
Wait, so are we going to add in, like, Joey and Johan?
No, we're going to have them do their own biographies. I think that's the best way to do it.
Well, I think also we could just separate these all into individuals if we wanted to after.
Just little clips and just put them up on the thing.
But,
their own individual pictures.
Yeah.
Who is George, Rants and Raves crew?
What?
Like, who is George, Rants and Raves crew? Or who is Kyle?
Yeah.
And they're just separated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, first of all, am I starting?
You first.
Okay. Am I going through, like, my whole life?
Well, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much,
they decide to... So, no,
stick it in their fuckhole.
Do you want to start at the best part of your life?
My orphan?
Orphan?
That's not... No, so... My name is George. We just started recording recently, but let's give you a little bit of backstory. I grew up in a small town in Maine. I've lived there my entire life. Throughout my life, we have been... No yawning.
I'm sick of your shit, okay? I'm tired of your shit.
Throughout my life, we've been living in the same address, but actually, at one point when I was like 6... we had to move into my garage for a couple years because we didn't have any water. And living in poverty is exciting, and it teaches you how to poop in a bucket, which is a skill that you need to learn for camping in 15 years. So I really appreciate that. No, yeah, so we grew up in semi-poverty. My dad worked at BIW, so he was making good money, but my mom didn't work for most of my life because she decided to kind of just live at home and take care of her children, her 5 children. So yeah, grew up going from my house to my garage to the house across the street back to my place, until I got older, which I guess I'll just skip to like 16 years old. My grandfather passed away, and he had quite a bit of money, so he gave my parents, well, when he passed away, he gave my dad like around $200,000. My dad purchased a new trailer, a new vehicle, and a whole bunch of stuff like that because he knew that he was sick, because both my parents had emphysema, so he knew that he was sick, so he figured he'd spend the money that he wanted to spend on whatever he wanted to spend it on, which I really think is a smart way to do it. So he got all the things he wanted, like 4x4 buggy and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And about a year later, him and my mom got really, really sick. He was in the hospital like constantly, and my mom was in the hospital constantly. And I spent most of my why do we have to go sad? That's my life, though. Yeah. No, I spent most of my junior year and senior year in the hospital with my parents, just helping them out, trying to also get through high school. And January of 2016, my mother passed away of emphysema and heart failure. And I was 17 years old, and I was like, oh, well, that fucking hurt. If we need to go into specifics, we can probably do that on a different recording about, like, that exact experience, because I was trying to get my sister into that. But yeah, so I went through that, and it actually, honestly, I feel like it brought me and my father closer, because me and him didn't exactly get along much when I was younger, because he wanted manly sons that like to go hunting and fishing and so on, and I was that son that liked to fucking sit inside, bake cupcakes, and draw, which I really think is an okay thing. I don't have a problem with it at all. But yeah, it brought me and him closer. I started doing a lot more woodworking around that time. So he was a lot more happy about the way I was turning out. And it turns out he really found me to be, I guess, a responsible individual and like someone that he actually trusts, because 3 months later, after my mother passed away, he passed away of the same things, heart failure and emphysema. And that was the beginning of my incline and decline, my emotional decline and my responsible incline. I started living in my parents' house and started picking up all the payments at 17 years old. I still have the house to this day. And I have my friends. My friends lived with me. My friend Joey, who you may see on a podcast, lived with me for about a year and a half. My friend Kyle.
Hi.
He lived with me for about scattered around for a year and a half. Like,
yeah,
you lived with me, then left, and lived with me, then left. So, he lived with me for a while, and that, I feel like losing people definitely helps you build relationships with people. Alex, you say something.
Yeah,
I've known him since I was 5 years old, kindergarten.
Right.
We've known each other scattered throughout my life, but we've never not gotten along, and now I feel like we're closer friends than we ever were, really. And yeah, friendships and relationships amongst my family definitely they spiked after my parents passed away. So I'm never gonna be like, hey, I wish my parents didn't go, because I'm not happy that my parents are gone, but I am happy I got the experience of trying to learn how important relationships actually are with other people. And I think that's what loss teaches you. But
well, I'd like to point out we met each other in high school. Like, re-met each other in high school.
Because we didn't.
That's where our friendship started.
That was because me and Alex were pretty close friends, and then I started hanging out with you, and then
by proxy,
you ended up hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Right.
And it kind of just ended up.
Yeah, it starts a cycle. That's like with Aaron.
It's a circle.
With Aaron, me and Aaron got along great because he's my brother-in-law, and then I met Johan, and now me and Johan are really good friends. So it starts a cycle of friendships. But yeah, about 5 months after.
I just have to say, we're gonna cut this out. That was a very lazy fly. I reached for it to like smack it, and it just casually walks away and flies off my leg like I wasn't coming at it.
You need to touch up on your ADHD.
Yeah.
But yeah, about 5 months after my dad passed away, my dog, I inherited, I guess you'd say, 2 golden retrievers, Ginger and Angel, and one of my dogs, Angel, had gotten a porcupine quill in her foot and had gotten infected, and she started like puking blood and so on, so we had to get her put down. And Kyle and his family was there to help me, and they helped me through everything, and so that helped build that relationship a little bit more. And about 3 months after that, let's get a little sadder.
Yeah,
I got a puppy, and I named her Moana because I fucking love that movie.
And your niece wanted to.
Oh
name
yeah,
her.
she loved the idea of naming a puppy Moana. I was actually working on getting her a collar with the little Moana fucking gem.
The Heart of Tafiti.
Yeah, but no, I got her, and I had her for about a month. And apparently she was overdosed on flea medication and started having seizures, and she got to the point where she was having 3 seizures a minute, and they were lasting way too long, and they said they can't stop it, and we had to have her put down, which was another big emotional break for me. I feel like my parents passing was an emotional break that I was getting through, but then that dog passing, the second one, I for some reason, I didn't even break emotionally and start crying as much. I broke emotionally and started getting angry, and that was another start of a decline in my life, and then also an incline because I had to learn how to get through it. And Kyle once again was there to help me bury my dog. He went outside at 6 a.m. to start burying my dog because I didn't
even tell you I was going. My mother called you and told you that I was out in the backyard.
And then I was called, and like he said, by his mom, and she's like, hey, Kyle's in your backyard burying your dog right now. And I was like, oh, fuck, great. And then I went outside and I tried to help him out, but that was something that helped me get through things, and I appreciate you. I still don't say I love you to my friends typically. I'm like, I appreciate what you've done. But yeah, so that happened, all that. Let's get to like the working. I'm not going to say the exact name of the company, but I've been working, taking care of people that have a hard time taking care of themselves. I'm in that type of career field. And at one point I did telemarketing and sold dildos, and that was fun. And I've also done lumberyard work, and I did landscaping with my brother, and he has his own company, so it was a nice experience. But I'm back to the field that I feel like I enjoyed the most out of all of them. But yeah, so I went back to the company that I'm working at now, and I've been there for about a year and a half now again. And yeah, everything emotional that's happened in my life has also been coupled with things that help me get through it, and people that help me get through it, and building relationships with those people. So I'm never going to say I regret anything that's happened in my life, because everything that's happened in my life has happened and helped me bring someone in my life to a closer friend. And I think that's a big important thing in life to realize. Unless you have no friends and you lose somebody and you're just fucked. Right. In that case, just listen to us. We're your friend. But yeah, so yeah, I think in my life I focus on family and friends over everything else in the whole scheme of things. And I just would like to talk about, I'm not a sad person in general. Like, a lot of sad shit has happened, but I am generally a really happy person that tries to see the good in things. I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but I do believe some things do happen to help you grow, and that's something that people need to realize. You can't change something that's happened, but you can change yourself in that situation, and that's a good thing to think about. So that's my backstory, and now I'm sitting in a room with 3 men that have gassy problems and listening to myself on a podcast. So, and that was Febreze. So I would say everything's worked out so far. Hopefully this can get popular, and I can have $12. That would any type of extra money is extra money, man. But yeah, so that's the life of George. It's not a happy life. It's not a sad life, but it's the life I live, and I wouldn't live any other. And on to you, Kyle.
Yeah, now for something to sound a little bit less like you're trying to be a white knight. So basically, like George said, we all grew up in this small town. I've moved around a little bit, not much though. When I was younger, I lived like 2 towns over, and then I moved to my home, what I call my hometown, because I would live there since I was in 2nd grade. And a little thing about our schools though, our high school and our middle school is actually 3 separate towns all mushed up into one once you get to middle school. Yeah. In elementary school, I did not know either of these 2, and then in middle school we were kind of all just thrown together. And
5th grade, it was at 5th grade. I'm pretty sure for you.
Well, 5th grade for both of you. 6th grade for me.
Right.
No, because the middle school was 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And we were the first 6. I was the first 6th grade class.
6th grade. So at the end of grade 5, that's when the merge happened.
Yes, but we didn't actually start seeing each other until 6th.
We all got joined when I was in 7th grade, because I'm a grade above both of you.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well, you were the same grade as him, and then, stuff. We'll let him explain that.
Yeah, I'll explain that when my time comes.
But, no, I didn't know either of you guys until about 6th grade. I wasn't particularly close with either of you until about 8th grade. Me and Alex started hanging out. I talked to George a little bit, but not, like, a ton. Then, freshman year came around. One of the biggest things that sparked me and Alex getting closer and closer is we were in chorus together. And that was one of the main things because we had like 3 classes together, including that, and our concerts and everything, taking trips after school because of that. And it basically sparked from there on that end. I started seeing George a little more and more throughout high school. And
you're welcome.
Yeah. I think being in chorus and such was one of the biggest things in high school for me. That and drama club. I've been in drama club. I was in drama club from 4th grade all the way up until my senior year of high school, and that was interesting because you have not lived until you see a 300-pound man in a giant gingerbread costume. Senior year of high school, we did Shrek the Musical, and I was Gingy. It was so much fun. I thought they were going to give me a puppet. No.
That's sad.
I think those are 2 of the biggest things that shaped my middle school and high school life, but I didn't have any really big emotional traumas during middle school and high school related to family. I did a little bit, but I wasn't particularly affected as hard as you were because my grandmother passed away when I was it was either freshman or sophomore year, and then a year later my grandfather also passed away. And the funny thing about that was that they were married, but they divorced just after I was born, and they had been apart for all these years. And then they passed away a year apart from each other, and my mother has always had this superstition that it was because they still cared about each other a lot, and my grandfather didn't want to be around in a world where the woman that he once loved was in. But I mean, that's just the way our family was. My family is a little bit Christian, not like hardcore go to church every week Christian.
Yeah. Very superstitious.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sorry, just had to gay up the place.
No,
yeah.
okay.
That's your job.
I can smell the rainbow.
Yeah.
Taste the rainbow. In this case, they hear it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the biggest emotional turmoils versus with George is in my personal relationships, my romantic relationships, I should say. There's been a lot of infidelity in my relationships, not on my end, but on the female end. I believe the exact number is 17 times that I've been cheated on in my life. I honestly have lost count. But no, that kind of messed with me. My personal views on myself may have gotten skewed from those situations, but
so George has been your rock.
Yeah, I can say that. We really got closer during my junior year of high school, and then after he had graduated my senior year of high school, like I said, we spent all that time going to the diner and whatnot. We mentioned that in our first podcast. But there was only really one big relationship that had happened during the time that me and George had been friends, and in that particular instance, there were 4 instances of fidelity just in that infidelity in that one relationship. And George was the person that I was able to turn to and say, I feel like shit because of this. And he may not be the most supportive emotionally. He's the guy that gives you tough love because he knows what you need to hear.
Also, you have 3 steps when a woman cheats on you. What are they, Kyle?
Oh, me and George have this little quote. I know exactly what George would say to me if I ever told him that my current girlfriend cheated on me. And they go, in order, forget about it, kill the bitch, or fuck her sister.
That's it.
Which I would not do.
Well, you don't have to do sister.
Sister, best friend, cousin, or mother.
Yeah, you got this.
So, yeah, that happened. Shit went down. Every time we drive past this person's house, we insult them. Particularly, we say the word cunt.
Yes. We don't, do it to their face. We just drive by and shout.
Windows up. No one can hear us. We're just like, cunt.
Yep.
But no, those relationships they have very much skewed my own personal view of myself, because in those moments I always felt like I was the problem. I was the reason that they did these things, and it pushed me to a point where I have felt like I'm not good enough for anybody, and I still feel that to this day, but that's just my mind. And in my current relationship, I'm actually very happy. I mentioned it in the podcast before. We got into a fight last night, but I still very much care about her, even though we can get into these intense fights. But like I said before, that's just a part of being in a relationship, and I think there's just a point where there's a difference between fighting and... There's definitely a difference between fighting and infidelity, and
yeah,
they're two very different things, and you can't let one ruin the relationship, but the other one kind of have to, because after someone has been unfaithful, there's really no coming back from that. And that's one thing that I didn't realize until I started hanging out with George, because I always believed in second chances, and I would always give them these second chances, and then I would just get hurt again.
Yep.
And I just didn't understand it. But George kind of pushed me in a way and showed me that if they can't care enough to be faithful for even a little while, they do not love you, and there's really no coming back around that. But yeah, after all that, I never actually finished high school. Still haven't. It's been 2 years. A little bit of sadness there, but that's more on my part. After high school, I ended up getting a job. Also, thanks to George, kind of, because it was his brother-in-law that introduced us to the company where George and I were employed.
Yeah.
We in our previous podcast, we mentioned that we worked at a whoopie pie factory, and we all worked there together. Myself, George, Joey, Johan,
and Aaron.
And
they all plan on doing podcasts with us, by the way, so keep in touch.
Yep. We worked there for... It wasn't very long. It was only about 2 months. But we had some of the most fun times we could have there, just because we were there together. Like, the job itself wasn't necessarily the most fun, but we had those little moments during work that were a lot of fun. Like, there was a specific supervisor that we didn't care for, and there were a lot of inside jokes behind that.
Yeah.
And that was our way of dealing with this person, was they weren't the nicest person, so we just made our own little private jokes that they didn't understand, and it made it more bearable.
We all have one of those at every job, let's be honest.
I got lucky at my first job, which I'm still at, and everyone over there is chill, and I wouldn't take it over
actually, at my new house, it's the same way. Everyone's really cool, and you can get through it. But back to you, Kyle. So we were there. We had our little moments. I think one of my favorite things about that job was I worked in the warehouse, stacking boxes and whatnot, moving pallets. And my favorite thing in the world was, at the end of the day, I'd always take the manual pallet jack and I'd ride it around the factory like a scooter. Yep. I remember this.
I remember you using a U-cart like a surfboard.
Yes.
No, but we worked there for only about 2 months, maybe a little more.
I think around 3 months.
Yeah, and then we ended up leaving there.
Duncan?
I was unemployed for about, I want to say, 6 months, and then I started working at Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know if they have that all across the country. I know they have it down to Boston.
Oh yeah,
America runs on Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's true.
It's pretty true.
I worked there for a good 6 months. It wasn't a bad job. I very much I enjoyed spending time with my coworkers, both in and out of work. It wasn't the easiest job, but that's mainly just dealing with asshole customers, which is gonna happen in food service. But no, I ended up leaving there in September of this year. I've been unemployed ever since. My girlfriend and I recently moved out into the city. I should say it's our little shitty city.
Man's shitty city. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
We moved out there about a month ago. It kind of makes me feel like shit because I'm not working and she's paying for everything. She's paying for our apartment, our groceries, and I feel like I'm not contributing, and I feel like being cooped up in that apartment also doesn't do much good for my mental health, I want to say.
Well, which is good that you're doing this, so that
Yeah.
will help you through it.
But no, we've been out there. I've been looking for jobs. Other than what I've mentioned, the only other things are like my little hobbies that I have, which all three of us share, and one of them George sort of shares in one other that he's not like as big as as I am. We all enjoy video games.
Yeah.
Like thoroughly. George and I play PlayStation 4, and then Alex is a PC gamer.
PC Master Race.
Well, we've all played on PC, but we also have our PlayStations, which is what we mainly play on, mainly because we can't afford good computers that can play good games.
Correct.
I got my PlayStation at a pawn shop. Okay,
Yeah.
That really explains how it is. But no, we enjoy playing our video games. That's one of the main things that we do together, which is another thing that we might have wanted to do on our channel was gaming videos. Mainly watching us play Fortnite because we're fucking nerds.
Did you say mainly watching us play Fortnite?
That was our main thing when we were gonna start because we were like, oh, we're so good. We're really not.
I fucking suck at Fortnite.
Yeah, we are garbage
We'll
at the
play
game.
it from time to time.
Yeah.
It's funny
You'll
to
be
watch.
able to see us.
I would like to do some Gmod gaming as well. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, our own prop hunt videos would be fun.
Yeah.
No, but and then the other thing that I enjoy very much is Dungeons and Dragons. It's become more popular in recent years. George plays with me and his family. It's his brother-in-law that DMs for us, but we play 3.5 edition. I'm more prone towards 5th edition. Then when it comes to other tabletop gaming, which I'm into just a tad bit, Alex is very into the game Shadowrun, which runs on a different system than Dungeons and Dragons. It's basically futuristic Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
It's tech and magic mixed together.
Yep.
It's kind of fun.
It's fun. I love it.
Yeah, we do also plan on trying to do some type of D&D podcast as well.
Not like script. Like obviously, it's not going to be scripted or anything. It's, like these aren't even scripted.
Not even close.
So, yeah, that's why we have so many fuck ups. No, but just basically recording us playing D&D and explaining who our characters are.
Sorry.
Jesus
By the
Christ.
way, we keep a can of air freshener in the room because all of us are prone to farting.
Yep.
A little tidbit about our crew here.
We should put a counter of how many times we've said that throughout our entire podcasting career.
It's happened a couple.
No, but those are some of the things that we like to enjoy, and we're probably going to include on our channel at some point or another.
Yeah. We just need to make sure we can all at least get together every once in a while.
And have enough microphones. There's not really much else to tell, really. When it comes to family, it's just me, my parents, and my sister. My sister and I don't necessarily get along the best, but I think that more comes from the fact that she was never really around when I was younger, because she moved out when she was 12 years old. I was only 9, and she moved in with my aunt. They went to Florida and all over the place, and she wasn't necessarily home as much as I was spending time with my mother. My father always worked, so I don't have much of a relationship with him either.
If you're all good, you can pass on the mantle, man.
I don't know. I think that's basically it for me. I have the boring life.
Did you talk about your future aspirations? Was
My
that
future
a thing?
aspirations? Like,
Yeah.
which ones?
Like what you? No, because you did in the previous video.
Yeah,
It was the business that
the homeless
homeless
shelter type
And
thing.
I talked about how I wanted to open up a diner and
Yeah.
everything. And
So I'm the only one who hasn't talked about it in a
Yeah.
previous episode.
Yeah, you can start with your life and get to what you want to do with it in the future. It's on you now. Go.
Besides Dick.
So, when a mother and a father love each other very much. So, actually, you know what? I'll start around that time where I was an accident. And this is very apparent with the family photo only including my 2 older brothers. And it still sits on the mantle at home. And it's just my mom, my dad, and my 2 older brothers. And they had it professionally taken before I was born.
That's sad.
So, it's sad, but I've gotten over it because they shower me with love every fucking day. And so, I know that they care about me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not.
Just because you were a mistake doesn't mean that they regret that mistake.
Right. I was a good mistake.
Like, even when you accidentally break the yolk while cooking an egg, you still eat the fucking egg.
There are no mistakes, just happy accidents.
There are mistakes.
We don't talk about those.
Yeah.
So I guess I should just skip over to kindergarten, where George and I officially met.
Yeah.
At that point, I don't think we hung out that much.
No, well, we talked. Like, I recall us, and I think it was either... Yeah, it was kindergarten. I recall us... We were both trying to use the scissors, and we were sitting at the table. I remember some old shit. We were both trying to use the scissors, and they were like, remember, keep your arm down when you're using scissors. And me and him were both like, I got this. Like, with our arms all the way up.
Yeah, sounds like me.
That's the first memory I have of me and Alex. But we were sitting at a table with a kid named, I'm not going to say his last name, but Tristan. I don't know if you remember Tristan.
Okay.
But we were sitting at a table all trying to figure out scissors, and we were all confused as shit.
Yeah.
That's my first memory, with you at least.
I didn't even remember that. Anyway, so from there, it all goes a bit foggy because I don't know what exact grade I went to Christian school for, but it was between kindergarten first and second, and when I came back, they told me that what I had learned in Christian school wasn't adequate and I'd have to do the grade over. So that set me back, I'm pretty sure. However, when I hear my parents talk about it, it sounds like I actually stayed back because of my ADD.
Oh, okay.
Or ADHD, at the point of which they called it ADHD, and they said I wasn't ready to progress because I hadn't passed my tests. Or, no, I hadn't done enough of the homework. And then when I was tested, I was fine. So I moved on to the next grade.
Yeah.
ADHD, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds fun.
Not being able to finish homework, fucking ace tests. Don't know why.
That was pretty much my life. Yeah. I never did homework in elementary school. I literally had a teacher in 3rd grade say that she wanted to keep me back because I never did any of my tests. I never did any of my homework. And then the tests came around. It was either NWEAs or MEAs, one of the two, and I had the third highest grade in the entire class, so they couldn't keep me back.
Right.
It was hilarious. Yeah. Back to you, anyway.
So, from there, I was in the equivalent grade of Kyle, but we hadn't exactly met yet because I was still at the central school while Kyle was at the...
That was at the point where our schools hadn't merged together.
Merged yet.
Because originally the schools didn't merge together until high school, and then they realized that there were all these kids that were getting thrown around together in high school, and high school's already a shitty place, and then you just get thrown together with like 300 other people that you don't fucking know. So they decided to throw us together even earlier, 3 grades earlier, and put us all together in middle school. Right. So I was over at it was called a middle school, but it was grades our middle school was grades 3 through 8.
Okay.
Before the merge happened.
Yeah.
And
before the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah. No, but I believe at that point we would have been in the 3rd grade. So it was like...
Yeah. Yeah, so we were at the same level, not at the same school yet.
Yeah.
So we, kept going through life. Yeah. And at the end of 5th grade, it came time for us to go to the new school.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically, we all got to choose the name for our new school, which was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember
thought
that.
It was a good idea. And then the name got chosen and everyone hated it.
Yeah.
Everybody picked like this cool name and then they just went with something else.
Yeah, I don't think they even followed it.
I liked it.
They only did the poll to make it seem like we had some kind of a
one
choice.
of the things that was voted for a lot, which I can say that's because it's not exactly seen in town, they were going to call it Raiders Middle School.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really sick, and then they came up with a different shitty name, which sucked.
Yeah.
They literally just named our middle school after our high school.
High school.
Yeah.
Right. So, from there, we were together in middle school, Kyle and I, in the same grade, but opposite sides of the school. He was in one wing, I was in the opposite.
I wouldn't say it like that because we had our homerooms and we would all bounce around for classes like you start doing in middle school. Because I remember back in elementary school, you did every class in the same room.
Yep.
But in middle school, you would start moving around. We had like one class together, and we never talked.
Probably.
I believe it was social studies with that one. The social studies teacher that none of us truly cared for.
The old one?
No, not the old one. The tall, younger one that gossiped with the other students.
Ah.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I
see. Yep.
Inside joke type things.
But otherwise, we didn't really meet because we were mostly scheduled for the classes on the opposite wings of the school.
Oh, and also we had our unified arts classes like art, gym, music. But when 7th grade came around, another reason that I didn't see much of either of these guys was because in those classes I was chosen for this program called JMG Reach, where kids with social problems, whether they're overly social and can't focus on their classes or are underly social and don't talk to anyone, are basically thrown in there and taught those skills of how to interact with each other. So I wasn't in any of these other unified arts classes. I did not take art or gym or music until I was back in high school.
Oh, good. You didn't have to endure the fitness Grand Pacer test.
No, I did not.
Fucking loved that test.
I was able to get out of that test. I loved it.
Lucky
the fitness
bastards.
Grand Pacer test.
Don't give me PTSD. So anyway, kind of bumbled along middle school. So I continued school to 8th grade. not doing drama. And from 8th grade to high school was the shittiest transition I think I've ever had. Because they had to keep me back for half a year in middle school. So I was not in the freshman class for half a year. And
That
so
sucks.
I went to the high school thinking, oh, I graduated. And then they're like, we're shipping you to the middle school.
That's fucking stupid.
So they pulled me out of that class. I'm glad they didn't tell anyone. They just said, come to the office.
I kind of
And
just
that was
noticed
nice.
you were gone.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. I was just like, there were a few kids that had to do that, and I noticed that they were just kind of gone. Nobody ever said anything.
So we both ended up making it halfway through the year, and we were able, both of us, to go to the high school at that point. At which point I joined chorus.
Yep.
I think immediately.
Yeah, because you had done it a little bit 8th grade year. I remember that because the chorus
Right.
was the one thing I was allowed to do because that was during our lunch period.
Right. Yeah. So, Kyle and I were back together in one single class
That sounded
for
gay.
chorus. Shut up.
He's not wrong.
With a bunch of girls. So from there, my interest in music and musical productions kind of started. I had been so highly skilled at singing
Yeah.
that I auditioned.
That was both sarcasm and not sarcasm. It's just Alex is a very, very good bass. Try to send him any higher, and he sucks.
Yeah. Although I've gotten better.
Yeah.
So anyway, I auditioned for our version of advanced choir.
Select choir
Select
is
choir.
yeah.
Yeah. So and I'd like to point out my audition song was actually a pony song in disguise.
Was it really?
Yes. So yeah, I got away with that. And from there we went on all the trips as Kyle mentioned.
Particularly the one most memorable is Islesboro. That was fun.
Which year?
All of them.
All of them? Yeah.
Because what Islesboro is when our school and 4 other schools would go out, we would pick one place on the mainland because off the coast of Maine is a lot of islands, and one of those islands is called Islesboro. It's its own little town. We would have we would pick one of the 4 schools that were on the mainland, and we would have a concert there. There was 5 schools coming together. It was our school, Monmouth.
It's changed since then.
Yeah,
They've added schools.
They've added schools, and some schools have dropped out. But no, it was we would pick one school on the mainland. At the time, it was only 5 schools, so we would pick one of the 4 schools on the mainland. We would have a concert there, and then the next day we would go out to the island and give a concert for them because there was only about 90 people on that whole island, and
Right.
so the entire town would show up and watch our concert.
Yeah, which was pretty dope.
I think the most fun part about it was messing around at the ocean because we would have to take a ferry out to the island, and if the ferry ride was fun, we would always sing sea shanties that Alex would start.
Yes.
But if you weren't on the first ferry, we would mess around on the beach and whatnot. I spent an hour finding each separate piece to reassemble the pieces of a dead crab. I was gonna try to electrocute them, but it didn't happen.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's alive!
No, but that was one of our more fun moments.
And then I think one of our crowning achievements was performing with the local chorale.
Oh, yep, the Androscoggin Chorale.
Yeah, and then actually performing a somewhat normal gig
at
a
it was a large. It was like it's supposed to be a performance hall, but it's also a church, and that was what we were performing at with what the Androscoggin Chorale is. It's a large local chorus of. it's actually older men and women. Like they were in between, anywhere in between like 25 to 60.
Right.
But they were all amazing singers, and we got to join them on stage. They did their pieces, and then we went up and we did our separate pieces, and then we did all of our pieces together. It was only like 2 at that point, but
Right.
that was a lot of fun. That was actually where we got there was this nice lady who gave our group a waiver for a free session at a recording studio, even though it was a professional recording studio, but it was in this guy's garage.
Yeah.
He had a professional recording studio built in the basement of his own house, and that was where we did it.
Well, that's cool, but at the same time, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, you know, we were just like, oh, we're going to a professional recording studio, and then the bus pulls into this dude's house, and we were just like,
are we at the right place? Like, the bus driver was so confused too. They were like, wait, you told me to come here? So that was fun though.
And then we got to make our own
CD.
We made our own CD that year. It only had like 7 tracks on it, but
yeah. But
we did all of our favorite songs from that year. I believe the 2 big ones were "Bridge Over Troubled Water"
by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, and we didn't add any of our Christmas songs, even though we had some good ones.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Our holiday songs, I should say. But it was a Christmas song. It was a Spanish Christmas song.
Yeah.
Our main one.
It was. So, from there, that kind of sparked my interest in audio production.
Yeah.
And so, for a lot of time, I've been trying to learn a lot about, producing audio, mixing audio, and what I aspire to do is get my certificate in audio engineering and go on to essentially, hopefully, build my own studio in a nice place, not in a basement, but in a nice place, and actually record maybe Billboard artists at some point.
One thing that I also feel like you should mention is at one point you had you had a big fascination in becoming a voice actor.
Yeah.
Which that was a big thing throughout high school, because I remember you talking to me about it a lot.
Mm-hmm. And so my thought process there was, if I can't be a full-time voice actor, I want to get as close to the mic as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And so the next logical process was, well, I can be as close to the mic if I want, if I'm the one controlling the fucking mics.
Bro, me and you could do a fucking radio show.
Yeah.
I remember when Alex and I were going to make our own cartoon, we were actually going to feature George in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to make... It was like this dumb parody cartoon about a couple of cops who were just out of high school who somehow managed to pass the police exam, even though
Academy. One
of them was extremely stupid.
21 Jump Street?
Basically. No, we had a lot of inside jokes that we had come up with, just little random quotes that we were going to throw in there.
Yeah.
And I remember the big thing that we had come up with was that their hangout place, which this is how we were going to incorporate George with it, their hangout place was going to be a restaurant called Big George's Burger Barn. And it was just going to be George running this restaurant, and this was be the place that they hung out all the time when they weren't at work.
I like it.
No, that was the main thing when you said you wanted to get into voice acting. You said that we were going to make that cartoon, we were going to do the voices, and I was just like, who's going to do the animation? You said, me? Mm-hmm. I was just like,
Me and you are both actually, I don't know if you're still interested in that, but I've been wanting to do animations for a long time. If we can get a good computer, we can set one up.
We'll animate a piece of podcast at some point in the future.
Oh yeah,
one of our favorite points.
Well, we can also do our stories, but animated. One of the things is that
animate my life.
Yeah, that'd be sick. But no, I want to do animations, and as soon as we get my good computer, which Johan should be selling me
providing.
Soon. Yeah, we could actually start that up.
Yeah,
which I'd be interested in.
That'll be fun. And so, I'm still going to high school.
Yeah.
I haven't finished yet, but I should be finished within a month, and I'll be getting my degree.
That's awesome.
My degree. It's
Diploma.
And then from there, I'm gonna work probably full time at computer sales or computer assistant.
The place that we bought this is hiring.
Yeah.
Actually,
thinking
if you want some experience in what you want to do, you might think into looking into getting a job at a local radio station.
I am. I already have. I went in and they were like, "We're not accepting interns."
I applied for 99.9, and they were like,
The country station, because they have
Yeah.
a place right over in Lewiston, don't they?
yes, but it was the office in Portland, which I was completely willing to drive to Portland at that point.
So 105.5 is right in Auburn, right across from the
Yeah.
Auburn Mall. And so I went there for one afternoon. Actually, no, it was one morning, in the morning. And so I was actually announced on the radio. They actually did a shout out for me on the radio live, which
That's
was
awesome.
But it was right before the regular Sunday French broadcast,
Yeah.
and then during the French broadcast. So I was shouted out in English, and then in the next hour I was shouted out again in French. So that was pretty cool.
It's pretty sick.
So yeah, I think that's everything leading up to today.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
much.
This is, I guess, technically a step towards your audio producing idea.
Right.
And we've been talking about doing
Like
podcasts for
Alex,
years
Alex is our tech guy. That's
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
we explain it. He's the one that runs the mics. He's the one that keeps our audio and such running.
The only problem with it is that I don't know how often I'll be able to get you to come down and do this. So we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Are we good?
I think this is the end of it.
That's our lives. Should we talk about our friendships as a whole now? Since like that we've made it to this
Yeah.
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
All
But-
right.
Starting with you so that I know what to go on.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we're all generally pretty close friends now.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't actually start hanging out with you until I brought you to Applebee's. No homo. I don't know if
you
you
took him
remember
on a
that.
date first.
That
Yeah.
was good though.
Yeah, Applebee's was awesome. It was weird because I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna think I'm weird because I'm inviting him on a date to Applebee's, but it's not a date." I was like, "But
No.
it's like
It was
like,
basically,
hey.
I don't want to. You literally said to me the next day, it was just like, I don't want to hang out with Kyle today. I'm gonna call Alex.
Yeah." I was like, well, Alex seemed like someone I could just hang out and
Yeah.
talk to, but we're going to be getting rid of that middle ground, which you were the middle ground.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to see if I can spend time with just Alex.
Yeah.
And I did, and at first it seemed like, it was like, what do I say at that moment? And then I was like, you know what? He's a buddy. And I just started talking to him about, like, any fucking thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And then now we hang out without Kyle once every week or every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's because I work well, we can get together like twice within a week,
Yeah, we could.
or you can sleep over once every 2 weeks.
Like
We
I
were-
just did.
Yeah, but yeah. So that kind of built my relationship with you just recently. It's been like a year since we started actually like hanging out. I think, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And then with you little fucker, me and you started hanging out after my graduation party.
Right. We the first time we hung out outside of school was at your graduation party.
Yeah.
You didn't even think I was going to show up, and I did.
I didn't know.
Because that was when me and Caleb were.
That's not
living
exactly
together.
true, though. It actually, the first time we ever hung out outside of school was at a friend's birthday party.
Oh yeah, but that was. I don't really count that because, I mean, we weren't really talking at that party though.
That was just kind of like, hey, we have this kid here.
We were all there.
It's fun. Huge ass tire.
I remember you getting stuck in the tire swing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of water in it, so my ass was like soaked. That was fun. But yeah, no, we started hanging out after my graduation party and slowly became better and better friends. I remember the first month me and you were hanging out with Joey. Well, me and Joey were hanging out with you. Me and Joey had this conversation that was like, do you ever think maybe Kyle is one of those friends that you hang out with a couple of days and then you have him go home and then you hang out with him a couple, and we're like, I think it's because he's so energetic that we're tired because we're old. I was like, I know we're only a year apart.
The transition between how I was before we started hanging out and how I am now, it was like taking me from being an 18-year-old, which I was, and turning me 65.
Yeah. Well, I've turned the same way. At this point, I remember we had our first party, which was a non-alcoholic, no drugs party, which I throw them at
very often.
Probably 4 times a year now. And people actually really enjoy them because they can talk to each other and do things that they wouldn't normally do at a party with a bunch of young people. And I remember our first party, everyone was so fucking loud that me and Joey came in here and started fucking playing bingo.
Because you wanted quiet.
Yeah, and we left our party because everyone else out there was being loud. And then everyone started coming into the room and we were panicking. We were like, oh my god, the fucking kids won't stop following us. It was like when you have a new, a toddler baby that you can't just go to your room without him following.
You're trying to go to the bathroom and you just hear them slapping the door.
That you guys actually fucking did that to me. But yeah.
I think my favorite moment like that was when you were in the bathroom and we were trying to get your attention. We had the megaphone.
Yeah.
And we just started yelling at you.
That
was not during a party though. That was just that was just at the end of a day of hanging out.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one of the most memorable moments we have is actually recorded, unlisted. No, you cannot see it, audience, but it is a recording of Truth or Dare session that we had that lasted 4 hours.
An exact quote from Kyle was, "My name is Kyle, I suck cock," as far as I remember.
No, that was your quote when we were doing one of the Helium videos.
Oh, and I am a gay mother. That's what he said. My name is Kyle, whatever your last name is, and I am a gay motherfucker. And
insert video here.
Yeah.
No, I think it was funny because that was a 4-hour video that Alex took, and he decides to go through the entire video and just clip out that one part and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, very proud of that.
Yeah.
No, he clips out fucking 7 seconds of me on a dare saying that I'm a gay motherfucker, and he decides to put that on YouTube.
Yep, I like it.
No, but that party was fun. We had some fun moments. We had some very cold moments.
We did?
I did. One of the dares, I don't remember who dared me. I think it was, it was him. He dared me to strip down to nothing but my boxers, run outside. It was the middle of winter, by the way, and jump into the snow.
Yeah.
And I did it without question. My pants were off before I hit the porch.
Yeah, no, that was a terrible moment for me.
Yeah,
I was just trying to see someone's boobs, man.
You ended up seeing mine.
Yeah, that wasn't what I asked for.
No, because I remember I saw the video after, and my boxers had fallen down halfway in the back when I jumped, because I jumped and threw my legs forward, so I landed on my back, and my entire ass fell out of my boxers, and everybody was disgusted at what they saw.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah,
it was a full moon.
But yeah, I would say those parties are definitely something that is a good friendship experience.
The thing is also with those is that we have the same regular people that come every single time to those parties, and they've realized that we're not trying to do huge, loud, ruckus things, and the parties have definitely calmed down to more of a level that we enjoy, and it's less of a party and more just a lot of friends hanging out.
Yeah, we had a Nerf battle last time.
Oh yeah. The Nerf.
Which is quite fun. The draw.
We were having Mexican standoffs with Nerf guns,
which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And we learned
that was the Halloween party.
Yeah, we learned that Kyle's girlfriend is really good with a gun. Which
I'm afraid I'm never buying her a gun now.
yeah, that's good.
I told her I was going to when we moved out to where we are now because I don't trust that place.
Don't do
and
it.
now I don't think I should.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Because she's a crack shot. If she gets mad at me, I might die.
Yeah, most likely. But yeah, those were definitely some really good friendship experiences, and now this is a new thing that could possibly be a bonding situation, or it could tear us apart. But we'll see. But yeah, I'd say those are all a lot of really good things. You got anything?
I think some of our biggest moments also were just hanging out, and like another thing that we might have mentioned on our podcast is that we every Sunday or every other Sunday. Me and George, and sometimes Alex, we go to George's sister's and we have a game night. And on the drive back from these game nights, we have these like really serious talks. Like you wouldn't, if you talk to us in our normal life, we do not sound professional at all. We do not sound serious. We're always joking around, but in these moments, we have these serious conversations. Like the thing is, with this podcast, we're able to channel that kind of energy and have these serious conversations without joking around too much. We add some jokes in, but
that's gonna happen.
But we have these serious conversations that 9 times out of 10 we don't have. I mean, 90% of our life are just dumb sex puns and but
a bunch of innuendos.
Innuendos.
Yeah.
But a lot of our big things come from just the little. Everybody thinks that these big moments are going to be happening when you go on trips together, or like when you do something super special. But the thing is, it's just little moments that really matter.
My mom used to say the best moments are the ones you're not expecting.
Yeah.
She probably heard it from a movie somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like it's the Pursuit of Happiness.
Sounds like it.
Just hanging out is when we have some of the best moments, and it's just and those little in jokes that we end up making because. Like there's a bunch of dumb little jokes that we have. A lot of really bad jokes that come from very dumb situations. But what we consider our inside jokes to be our own personal memes. That's how we pronounce them.
Yep.
We don't call them inside jokes. We call them personal memes.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are based around George saying dumb shit.
Hey, none of it's dumb. It's all fucking genius.
I guess one joke that I can add in is, or one personal meme, as you want to call it, is fupa. I've never heard anyone else say fupa.
That is a thing.
Except you guys.
Look at upper pelvic area. It's the chunk of fat above your dick.
It's supposed to be full upper pelvic area, but in our case, it's fat upper. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's the upper part above the penis.
Okay, I've never heard anyone else say that except you guys.
It's because
it's a thing.
You don't have a fupa, and the people you hang out with don't have a fupa. We have a fupa, okay?
A very full fupa.
Yes.
One person who you will hear talk about it in one of his comedy specials, rest in peace, is Ralphie May. He mentions it. He has this one joke where he talks about a girl with a fat vagina, or as he calls it, a fat monkey.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it was just all fupa. And that's all he says. He doesn't explain what it is. That's all he says. And that was where that joke originally came from, because we heard that and we were just like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then we looked up what it was, and that started a whole trend of joke with us.
Yeah. Which happens a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else?
No. I
think that's it. We're going to go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now.
We've hit rock bottom.
All right. So it sounds like that's going to be it for this video. Please like,
comment,
and subscribe.
And hit that fucking bell icon.
And this has been Rants and Raves, episode 2.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Bye.